It's a representation. It's a representation. You see, when my senior here one day told me that he looked for a member of parliament to take him to the Minister of Education so that the school is taken over by government, and the member of parliament was not anywhere to be seen. That's a deficiency. Services from Kampala come through representation. You must go and demand for what you feel and what you think belongs to your people. Now, our people have failed that element. Representation and advocacy for people. For me, that's number one that I'm going for. So that we can have resources for education, we have resources for health. I have been talking about attempt by one of our senior persons here, Professor Nantoja, to get a member of parliament to take a niche of the regional hospital in parliament, and he did not get anybody. We need a hospital. And that hospital can only be allocated resources through parliament. That one requires an effective representation. The other one is you need to know what you're demanding for. Look at our roads. Look at power. The other day, I went and advocated for 5 kilometers of road. It was celebrated. But in other places, constituencies are given miles and miles of power. I know places where you go and power goes up to the cloud. I know places where I go and the Tamaka road goes up to the cloud. So you need to go and demand. And in fact, that's the biggest deficiency. We are sending people who don't know what they are supposed to demand for. And that's the reason why I came. I want to go and demand for those things and say, Buked Bugwere deserves this. You see, those are partners. If you want to do development, you must have a team with which you work with. You want teachers, you want VHTs. As much as they will be doing that, I want them to go down and mobilize and take my message. And I think effectively, they will take that message. Because I am not in this, I am in this election because I want to serve. My time has come, I am 50 years and above, and I have said it's time to work. You see, I've been in opposition since 1996 when I was still a little boy. There are benefits that as a person I got, but there are no benefits for this community. If I am to serve this community, I took a decision that resources are with government, and therefore you join government to get resources for your people.
I'm a senior citizen in Bulangira community. I feel we have a very big gap between the leadership and the local people. And what is this gap? In my understanding, a member of parliament is a person who collects ideas from the people he represents and he puts them on the floor of the parliament as he uses it for lobbying. It's very unfortunate that you can take 2, 3, 4 years without seeing any member of parliament back to the community. I want to be very honest that, for example, in this election, I haven't seen this member of parliament around with any gathering, meeting anybody in my society where I live. Nothing, I haven't seen. I have never seen the Honorable Minister since she came and collected the votes. I haven't seen her coming back. I haven't seen Honorable Mugore. I don't need them in my house, but I need them in the community to understand the challenges of the community members. The ideas they are taking, they are getting them from there. Where? 2, we are tired of selfish people. I have been working for this community all these years to serve the member of the communities. The projects we do for community development. I feel so challenged, I feel offended that somebody comes up with a personal project and attributes it to his efforts in community development. What do you expect me to do? You have your project, a personal project, a business entity, and you are telling me that you have done a development in the area. I need 500, I need 700 to access your project. What does that mean? So, and that's the community leader. We find it really a very big gap, and it's on that reason that we feel, and we are appealing to Dr. Wakida, that please take our message very strongly. We don't want to keep on kneeling and begging for leadership support and presence in the community. We want people who have the heart. We want the people who are motivated to get back, like you are motivated now to look for votes. Please keep the candle lighting that you need to get back to the people and serve the people and respond to people's needs. That is why we are here.
We have lost a lot. My name is Naula Manjeri Bole, an aspirant for Chibuku District Woman Member of Parliament, who is very optimistic that we are going to change leadership. We have lost a lot ever since we have had leaders that are literally incompetent. Just like most of my colleagues have said, Mr. Medei and then Honorable Dr. Wakida, you realize that Chibuku as a district, we have had a woman member of parliament, even a minister, who has been there for the last 30 years. But when you look at the community, when you look at the women, there is literally no project that helps the women. No project. Personally, the aspirant, I started up an organization. I have restoration for teenage mothers, where I have seen mothers, where I have helped the teenage mothers. But our honorable minister, who has been in a minister for the last 30 years, there is nothing that is visible, you see, that has helped the women in the community. So to me, I believe it's the highest time we look for leaders with an intention of serving the community, not self-seekers.
Thank you so much for that great question. The truth is, we have lost. My name's Katoko Sylvia Damba. I'm a born and a resident of Chibuku. I do not love the status quo of Chibuku, and having bad leaders has given us so many gaps in service delivery. For example, if you look at the health system, we have good health workers available and ready to work, but there are so many things that are lacking. For example, the policy says a woman should have at least one scan during pregnancy, but the district does not own any scan, not even a private facility that provides scan services. So this compromises maternal child health. Not only that, academically, if you look at the education system, I live in Chibuku Town Council, where we have Chibuku Secondary School. Honestly speaking, I implore all the students of Chibuku SS to take interest in helping support government in reviving the status of the school. However, if we had good leaders, that would be one of the reasons, one of the agendas they would be pushing at the forefront. Support our children. An educated community is an empowered community. A child that has education can survive anywhere. Agriculturally, you know very well we have 75% of wetlands and only 25% of land. Now, with government policy of reviving the wetlands, people have no alternative, no factory, nothing that provides employment opportunities to our young people. So the status of Chibuku today is alarming. It is not reading the book of lamentation as it could be seen. It is actually the reality. Chibuku needs visionary leaders, and I want you to know that meaningful change starts with hope. That is why I am called Sovi, dear Chibuku. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Fronting one candidate to compete against the incumbent should be the way to go. Being an incumbent means one has established roots. They have structures from district to village. The new candidates, including myself, actually I would say most women have a compromised economic status. Besides the general poverty status, women have fewer opportunities to resources. So if we are many with our meager resource, we are competing against someone that has an established financial muscle. that will compromise our success. Two is our electorate have been compromised, have been made very vulnerable, that they are being fooled with small amounts of money to sell the vote. However, I know with the leaders around, the district will have one lady fronted, and I believe it's myself, because for you who are in there, the people have spoken. That is not enough. Having many women gives an opportunity to the incumbent. That is the truth. So having one person and we all rally against that one person will help us be able to compete. I do not want to say the incumbent has not done anything. However, there is not much that I think she can do, bearing the time in office and the state of the women she is leading. So that is my thought. That's my comment about it. There are so many loopholes, especially in the women's sector. I will give you a brief history of the status quo. Generally, I'll give you a little bit of the maternal child health, education and the likes. One, I'll start with the health department. I want to tell you that the sick and the dead do not vote. We have so many gaps, many loopholes, especially with the women's health sector. I've already talked about the having no ultrasound scan opportunity for the people of Chibuku that have minimal income, which has even caused so many maternal deaths. Last week we buried a woman in this community whose life was lost, and the baby is still alive, and we are supporting. The second thing I will talk about in relation to this is there are small things we easily have drugs, and the capacity of these women procure these medical requirements. For example, we easily stock out sutures. Sutures are those threads that are used in stitching the women, especially when they have cesarean sections, or when they give birth by operation. But someone's life has to wait as someone, the husband or relative, drives to maybe Mbale or Budaka to buy the sutures. That is now withheld. And when you look at the education sector, there are many women who are trying to study, though most of them drop out in senior 4. Now, a woman who has dropped out in senior 4 is not able to compete within the few opportunities. Most of them come with minimum qualification. And remember, I told you we have only 25% of land. We are not supposed to be using the wetlands because of the policy. But there is no alternative where we can maybe apply for a casual job without qualifications or with minimum qualifications. But also remember, I am a mother, and all the women I'm talking about are mothers. So they are supposed to educate their children for them to have a better opportunity. If there was maybe a factory, our children will be getting some jobs. So there are many gaps that women are experiencing, but those are the few I could highlight.
Inzoera mwigombola alieka kutu ninzo flaga bera wero si wanu inzo ukulembezo chebero takiro okukyusaku mbwa inengo umwami omulasya muntu wekulankulana mu parliament wakyuka nakulakulanya oulangira nga ali mukaire no Uganda ikona okuba omulasya ekintu kinu aiza tuyambe tubeera mu wavu kinene ino ekimala nga ekintu abaana basomere emirimo giwulaawo tuula amafakitole otambulako mu bitundu ebindi mu madistrict agandi balina fakitole abaana bakola nenga iswe okibuku ono amazima ali ansi ino
tuwene ng'omwami omulasya Wakida Patrick asobola wanga twabire nga tumutegereza enyuma eyo nga atukubire campaign n'abaana iswe nenga babula kibakola n'endowoozo nyere yakola abo tukyusiro kibuku ono era ali kwawugaita abakulembeze bonabona era ali kwawukolamu nabo akulakulanye ekitundu kyaiswe sigere mutegere kola mukamya flaga bearer Kakutu village.
Bogere Paulo.
Nsonga kyezwire okaisi musale omukovento obukulembeze tulina okubanga tukyusamu.
Tuwaine nge services tigiri kututuukaku. Kyova tusaliro tuta tukyusemu.
Bisake byomaite kuko ku Dr. Patrick Wakida.
Ali kutusuubiza ati alina emikago mingi.
Nairiba zaituna.
Nsonga kyezwire okaisi mukoventi tusaliro tubenga tukyusamu ko bukulembeze tomanyo sango oliawo ne tufune ebitwetaaga.
Ensonga gye tuzwire ku kaisi tukowetu tutukyuseku tuwaine nga embeera tuli kwabirira nenga tituwona ku bintu ebitufune bituufu tuswa balondi tusigala balondi nenga tuwula niki bintu ebituufu kale kyeva tusaliro nti tukyuseko okulembezo olwisi ne tukola niki tubaako embeera gendi
Malina tatamukadani okyapaasono wekagumutu omuluka na kitende ekigere tukyuseko mukulembeze omomona muyangu mazima amalire emyaka 4 mu parliament nawula nkulakulana gyakyusiremu okibuku kale kyovona tuzwireyo tukaba tutaati afuere mukulembeze ng'ekyo eno tufa n'ebizibu kyovona tusaliro tukyusa okulembeze tulonde ku Suubi tulondeko Wakida okubanga omwami omugole mazima eno yabire mu parliament iswe nga abatuuze utuletera nsigo gya biringanya niyo enkulakulana ate nga tula tuti MP afuna ukaire 4 kwa 3
tusuubira nti banafu okutuukirira ofisi ya president kyovona ntutakire tukyuseeko tufuna omukulembeze omutomuto ayina ekiwago asobola okutumulako kuno president nibatuweererya byenfuna
Mukungumali mbozoide yero amalina geso
amalina gaona James aka Triple Jonathan Megwa
lwaki osaliro ono kobandi tukyusemu ko bukulembeze
amazima bakoba nti omugwerako bantekiswa kyusa amaiso wona kyusa enzolo tulingirira omulundi gununga ekabwe eri okubakuwa mu mbeera esanyusa tuli mazima nokulingirira mukulu wa Wakida nga niyo omuntu ali kutulagako eitala at least lino light ne tuzomu omudimu light tubaire egitulinga tuwaone kyakusa ate anu twaba ku mukulu wa Wakida twaba ku Dambo Suubi at least tekabwe eriyo yakulamuka kibuko ya ugungumala
ndoza kakisanka wona bengani yasembayo
amalina doze banje tajala Edward inganzo meeting ya mzee gibeto Wakida
lwaki musaliro uko bantu tukyusemu ko bukulembeze
kuba babbe batuvulugo kuzanyu mede batuletera biringanya male niki ebiwulo mugaso tutaka abantu abatukolerawo nga iso abanane banakabweri ate bavuvuka nga iswe inkubiriza buli muntu zetu mutu kwatireko omzee Wakida benga akwate flag aduona kujeno eraize nga ni awangulo wanguli
kakisa kasembere ku mzee wangu
amalina kibongo cha Patrick
amalina geswe
kibongo cha Patrick
mzee insonga kyezwire ko kasire mukobanti
erese ekituzwire ku tuoneke nga tulondo Wakida musaizo muombe fwato musaizo atambwire naona kebe kyalo maite ndiyo abasakire ebintu ebyayinza okutuletera omuzeeyi owaba abire okukyala baako nebyaletera akabaana kale maite nti oyakola niki yatuyamba byona era tusaba mwensona tutya otuyizirano tubewumo tuwoneke nti tulondo Wakida atukulembere epaliamenti eno isenga kibuku tube kuno kukyuka era tuwoneke nti sena tuwonekako kumampo okusinga okanga nti abagwe